Hello, thank you for joining us for this special interaction. An interaction with a figure we've always known at the turn of this century in our body politic. And since the fourth democratic dispensation, I have to say, having practiced journalism over the last 23, 4, 5 years, that we've had some strong personalities. One of those personalities was once a member, strong one, a founding member of the opposition New Patriotic Party. He then made a decision to transition from being a member of the NPP into leading a pressure movement that not only will create a new divide for the strong members of the democracy we have. And since then, he birthed the movement for change. Today, he started to make a new move for that movement. He's birthed a political party. Alan John Kwadwo Kyerematen is my guest. Good morning. How are you?
Thank you, Alan. How are you doing?
I'm well.
It's been quite a while.
Yes, it has been.
And you've been in this game for some time. You're talking 25, 26.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
And you have a new political party outdoored.
Yes.
What's the name of the party?
It's called the United Party, abbreviated as UP.
You decided to make a choice from an environment of strife and a movement and then culminate into a political party as the United Party of today, just like the old. Is that the same? A difficult environment, and then you're birthing a new UP from that same difficult environment in the present day.
Yes, yes and no. But the yes part is because the United Party at that time, the old United Party, had some core values. And obviously, it was about unity, bringing all those parties together. It was also about fighting against dictatorship. It was about freedom and liberties of the individual. So some of these were the core values of the original UP. And the UP, again, also later on gave birth to the Progress Party led by Buzia, and then later on the PFP led by Victor Usu. So you could see that it has been a chain of party groupings based on the original UP. And we came as a group of friends, we came together as the Young Executive Forum to become founding members of the NPP.
From the 80s, the late 80s, so to speak, 85, 86, 87.
87, yeah. But then when NPP was established in 1992, we had already been in existence as the Young Executive Forum. Interestingly, with the same ideals as the United Party. So it became more or less obvious that once the NPP was being established on the back of the UP tradition, then the Young Executive Forum would naturally be one of the most vibrant and dynamic groups within the NPP.
If I have to ask you a candid question,
yes,
and it's just plainly based on your own assessment,
yeah.
How would you say, since the establishment of the Movement for Change, the transition from your disgruntled members, you inclusive,
yes,
their performance on the political scene and stage, contribution to political discourse and policy formulation,
yes,
and implementation,
yes,
how would you say it has been? Because certainly either they contributed well or not into all the public opinion that affected the last election.
yeah.
I will or will not be surprised.
Yeah, so of course you've talked about the performance of the Movement for Change in different areas.
In your own assessment.
So you talked about policy formulation. Now, even though we were established as, I would say, a political entity, not a political, full-blown political party, we were the first...
More like a pressure group.
Yes, we were the first to come out with our policy blueprint. I mean, the parties called theirs manifestos. we made it clear that a manifesto is only a set of promises that are made, and we were interested not in manifesto promises, but were interested in a comprehensive policy blueprint which you can execute when you come into power. So in terms of contribution, that was very significant, that the movement for change put together the great transformational plan, which has been acknowledged not only in Ghana, but
the Yellow Book.
Yeah, the Yellow Book.
GTP.
Yeah, GTP. So that actually came even before the manifestos of both the NDC and the MPP. So if you're talking about how successful were we in terms of, let's say, policy formulation, which you wanted there. So it's clear. It's very obvious. Yes. Yeah.
And then your people. Their influence on the political scene.
The influence has also been very significant. If we are objective, you'll find that even now, as we speak, before today, when we formally announced the establishment of the UP, some of the most powerful contributors to public discourse have been from the movement for change. And
really?
I know that you've been very gracious as TV3, and you've been fair and balanced.
We have been fair and balanced?
And not only to give opportunities to the two main parties, but you've also given opportunities to communicators from the movement for change. And I think the verdict is clear. The verdict is clear, I mean, in terms of contribution to the public discourse. Not only on TV3, but on all partners, and not just one person, a whole number of them. Okay.
Where were all these great talents who contributed to political movement in the MPP when the MPP was in power?
Interesting question. The matter speaks for itself as lawyers. So if you are wondering now how we had all these talents within, let's say, a powerful party like the MPP, one of the duopoly parties, and they didn't seem to be celebrated. But now moving out into a small political entity like movement, suddenly people get to appreciate what their contribution has been. So I say the matter speaks for itself. So it shows that the opportunity to shine was not available when they were part of the MPP.
Mr. Kyerematen, all the indicators post-2000 has shown that all the parties that get to be established, breaking away from NDC MPP, don't get to be successful. How do you think the UP of today is going to stand the test of time?
So one needs to appreciate and understand the dynamics of those parties and the period within which they've come alive. And I'm sure sometimes it's a bit sensitive just to be speaking about specific examples. But generally speaking, if you look at the people who have led those parties that have come out of either NDC or MPP, yes, they would probably have been stalwarts in the party. You understand me? But then the reason why I presume the context and the dynamics now is different is that if you look at the nature and character of our politics now, with the duopoly between the NDC and MPP, our politics has become so divisive and so rancorous that if there was ever a time in this country where there was a clear need for a third party that would bridge the political divide. If there was ever a time that has become critical, that time is now. So those who left much earlier and tried on their own, maybe the context was different at that time, because there was probably no real need at that time, a strong need for a third force. But I'm saying that right now it is very clear. It's not just the rancor and the divisiveness, but it's also the performance of the two parties. You know, so it's so clear that now people are looking for another opportunity that they would, yeah.
What then is the UP offering?
Number one, it's a broad-based, that's number one. Broad-based meaning that we are open to membership from all sections of the society. Number two, it's a centrist party. When we say a centrist party, it is basically a party that straddles between the center right and the center left. So we are at the center. We are a center party. Number three, also, we seek to unite the nation. So it's not just a question of being at the center, but that is reflective of the name of the party, bringing the country together. And last but not the least, also mobilizing the collective strengths and talents of all Ghanaians, irrespective of age, religion, or ethnic affiliation. So you can see that it's broad-based. In terms of political philosophy, it is at the center. We are taking the best out of the center right and out of the center left. And then also, we want to mobilize the collective strength of all Ghanaians. That is the heart of the... So the MPP is not doing that. It's on the extreme. The NDC is also on the extreme, on the left. But just try and understand the nature and character of Ghanaians generally. You can see that we move closer as individuals to consensus building, to compromise, to balance. That is the average Ghanaian. So for the first time, you find that there's a new political party that speaks very much in terms of its philosophy to the very nature of Ghanaians.
If I read your history very well and followed you, when you were in the MPP, you were one of their key financiers, especially when you work with those international organizations where you had enough network to be able to mobilize.
And also when I was chairman of the Young Executive Forum, at the start of the party, we were the financing, I would say, anchor of the party, and I was chairman of all the young people who, I mean, who later on became heavyweights in the party. I was the chairman.
But you will concede that what confronts or will confront the UP of today is monetization of our politics.
Yes.
How do you intend dealing with that? Okay. Because without money, really, because you have to buy iPhones. So Lawusu, for example, needs to have multiple iPhones to be able to convince people to vote. That's what's happening now.
Yeah, but you see, let us try and interrogate the matter. How many people do you find being beneficiaries of this monocracy? How many people? If you are talking about both parties, these are delegates. They buy the delegates. Is that not? How many delegates are you talking about? In the MPP, they don't have more than 220,000 delegates. I'm sure within the NDC, plus or minus maybe 300,000. Together, they are not even 1 million. So the majority of, if you have, let's say, 12, 13 million voters, only 500,000 people are benefiting from the monocracy. So we should not generalize the monetization of politics to be something that every Ghanaian is proud of. In fact, I think I would say that most Ghanaians are against monetization in politics. And so if there's a new party that has a philosophy, a motto, which is Ghana first, that's the party that now speaks to the interest of Ghana, not the interest of the political parties or individuals, then naturally we will gravitate towards that. So even though there's this general concern about monetization, how many people are beneficiaries of this monetization? So in actual fact, if we are saying that no to monetization and monocracy, we believe that you don't need to pay for votes to become a parliamentary candidate.
And you think you can win in Ghana? Would it be possible?
But this is the problem. How many people are benefiting from this monetization? I think we are generalizing it too much.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So it will not be, for me, it will not be a factor.
Before you birthed UP, I mean, Mr. Kyerematen, you were given an amnesty. There was a whole statement that was issued by the New Patriotic Party. Indeed, I even asked Solomon about it. I asked Pierre Dankwa about it. Nani Asapon, I couldn't meet him at the time. Offering amnesty to people like you, including Solomon Owusu, lawyer Pierre Dankwa, and the rest, Rodalin, and all those people. And you decided to go and establish and adore a new political party, Mr. Kyerematen.
But Roland, that was probably the most presumptuous, I would say, statement that was made.
Presumptuous?
That they are granted amnesty. Well, they granted amnesty. They defined those who could benefit from the amnesty. Look, I have been a founding member of the NPP. I've been a distinguished senior member of NPP. I left on my own accord. And even at the risk of sounding a bit boastful, I can tell you that I'm one of the most popular politicians within the rank and file, of the NPP.
You are sure?
Obviously. Look.
You conducted a poll?
Let me tell you that the truth of the matter is that within the NPP, the rank and file, you see, people confuse the leadership and then the rank and file. I'm talking about the rank and file of the party. You know, all the aspirants who are vying for power, you ask them.
You mean the base of the party?
Yes, the aspirants now who are vying for power. The majority of them, when they go around, they talk to people. Majority of them are people who are Alanites, as we call them. Okay. So you cannot grant, a party cannot talk about granting amnesty.
Why didn't you take the amnesty?
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That I didn't even understand what they meant by the amnesty. You understand me? If it's political amnesty as we know it, you know, and that's what they were talking about, then it didn't apply to me. You know, it has no value for me for them to say that they are granting amnesty. At any rate, they even said that those who left on their own are not part of the amnesty. But it had no application to somebody like me. You understand? And it shows to you? And even shows the arrogance, you know. Look,
Mr. Kyerematen, are you making claims here? Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, Brian Champong, Kenny Japon,
yes,
the General Secretary,
yes,
Kwadwo Kyerematen, the arrogant. Is that what you're saying?
No, I don't think you understood what I said. I'm saying that if the leadership of the party are saying that they've granted amnesty to those who somehow are no longer part of the party, but those that left on their own, they are not part of the amnesty. That's what I was talking about. You see, because you go into an election, 2.1 million people of your supporters refuse to vote, even at the risk of going into opposition. So are people thinking, I mean, you have a party, and presumably you have your base. Why is it that you think that 2.1 million people of your supporters, even at the risk of going into opposition, decide that they will not vote for the NPP? So it must suggest to you that they are not probably prepared to go to NDC, but they will not vote for NPP. So they are ready for a new vehicle.
You think it's possible that we could have UP parliamentary candidate just like the NDC also was able to prune MPP seats in the Ashanti region?
But this is exactly what is going to happen, because I'm saying that, and you probably may have heard about the so-called Okoye report and the other surveys that were done post the 2024 election. It's not that people are not owning up to it, but it is very clear from the reports that the fact that they created a situation where Alan had to leave the party was one of the major reasons why so many people actually refused to vote.
What do you make of the MPP internal presidential race that's taking place, and then also the conversations and the tirades they are throwing at each other?
Well, you see, but that's the point. And very respectfully, Roland, I will not come and sit here as I would say as a politician that has basically just adored a new party to be discussing the race for the leadership in the MPP. No, I still have a lot of friends in the MPP. There's no doubt about it. Don't get me wrong. I made it clear to you that even at the risk of sounding boastful, I still am one of the most popular political figures within the rank and file. So yes, it's not as if I don't have friends there. My problem has never been with the rank and file of the party. When I was resigning, I made it clear. My problem has been with the leadership. The party has been hijacked.
By who?
Let's not get into that. Let's use this executive time, because we are discussing what will move Ghana forward, not NPP matters.
What's your position so far on how the government of John Dramani Mahama has supervised the anti-galamsey fight?
To be very objective, I would say that they are making an effort. They are trying. It is clear that there's the political will to get things done. But unfortunately, they have not been able to articulate a comprehensive and I would say
strategy,
results-oriented strategy and policy framework. The things that they are doing are not entirely consistent. And for me, I feel that they should look at my 10-point plan, an agenda to stop galamsey. And I've talked about this. I've put this out in the media as part of the
GTP.
By the GTP, And if you look at the GTP, it speaks very much to what we need to do about stopping galamsey. And of course, I know it's not all about this topic, but I hope that we can do a follow-up interview just specifically on galamsey. So I think the government has the will to try and get something done, but it's not going far enough. And I think it's such a serious matter that the government must really now come to terms with how they can decisively deal with it. So the position that they've put in place some measures, and they need to give that some time to work. I don't think that is a way.
In your 10-point plan, you said there should be a ban, etc. Do you think?
Yes.
Do you think that should be done in tandem with putting in place a state of emergency?
Well, because my worry has been, what is the state of emergency? What is the state of emergency? But our proposal is that the nature and character of galamsey makes it very difficult to distinguish between legal small-scale mining and illegal small-scale mining. That's the problem. So when you impose a total ban and enforce that ban within a period of 1 year, this matter is so serious that I can't even believe that this proposal is not being taken up.
The 10-point plan?
Yes, the 10-point plan. So you
suspend any certificate of agency,
yes,
remove all small-scale and community mining license.
Yes, because you see, when you put a ban, and I said a ban for 1 year, at least for a period of 1 year, it means that the issue of having small-scale mining does not arise. I don't know whether that is the same thing as state of emergency, but as for state of emergency, it can mean so many things. But imposing a ban is imposing a ban. So basically, it is not allowed for a period of 1 year. And within that period of 1 year, it means that all the licenses that have been given, of course, those don't have license, that they don't even have a basis to be doing what they are doing. But then even those with licenses, we during that period of the ban, we ensure that we audit those licenses and then make sure that before the end of the ban, that those who have been able to use their licenses properly are the ones who would emerge. And within that 1 year period, we restore all the water bodies. So it's not that you are just imposing a ban for the sake of imposing a ban. You restore all the water bodies within a period of there's technology can easily be done.
The 24-hour economic policy and plan that has been outlawed, of course, it has to be progressively introduced in such a way that the market organically picks up to be able to create the demand for it.
Yeah.
And then how could it have been better implemented? Because, we had 1D, 1F, which you supervise, I'm told.
Yes. No, you see, the principle behind the 24-hour economic policy is sound. Because all you are saying is that you want an economy, whether it's in the service sector or in the manufacturing sector, or that generally speaking are operating throughout the day. Now, the principle is good, but it is what is the implementation modalities for that? So just talking about it is one thing, and making it happen is another thing. So what I would have expected the government to do, if they were primed to continue and take off from where the previous administration left, is to say that the previous administration had 1 district, 1 factory, which was apolitical. It didn't matter whether you were MPP or NDC. And at least at the time I was leaving, we had almost 300 companies that had benefited from the 1 district, 1 factory, using government support incentives. So it would only have made sense that this government would have said that, look, 1 district, 1 factory companies are the first candidates for the 24-hour economy. What do you need, each of these 1 DF companies, to make you run 24 hours? That is all. It's not a complicated matter. And so if a particular company needs more raw materials, that's what you provide. If they need additional equipment, because government has already invested in, remember, the 1D, 1F companies were not state enterprise. And this is another, I think, misconception. These are private companies. People who have borrowed money and government has supported them. So now a new government comes, you want to help companies to run 24 hours. You have companies there. So that should have been, rather than cancelling the 1D, 1F program.
You know that the economy, we went to the IMF, we're debt-ridden so far, and so you say that the government is doing well or not on the economy. What will be your rating? What will be your own assessment so far? The dollar is against the CD.
You see, there are several elements in economic management that one would have to consider. Okay. So if you look at, let's say, the currency, I would say to a large extent, what they've done is to be appreciated There's no doubt about that. At least you can see synergy, policy consistency between Ministry of Finance, that's on the fiscal side, and the monetary side. At least you can see an effort, and that's to be commended. But the point is, how do you sustain that? How do you sustain that? But number two, if you're looking at it from the point of revenue mobilization, then you can see that there's no evidence that much has been done in that area. I'm sure they are working on it, but then as of now, there has to be clear evidence that we are optimizing revenue. In terms of rationalizing public expenditure, I think they've made some good progress. I mean, trying to cut down on government expenditure, lean government, and so I think where the current government can do better, it's in the area of industrial development, because basically that's where the jobs are going to come from.
Once you have united party, it means that you are a competitor with the MPP.
Yes.
But haven't been a stalwart of the MPP before they booted you out. You said they booted you out.
They booted me out.
That's what
I left. Oh, no.
Okay.
I'm surprised you are.
So
I resigned.
You resigned.
Honorably.
You resigned.
Because
I just heard Boniface Abubakar said they booted you out. That's why they said they booted.
They were booted out.
Okay.
Yeah, because they said they sacked. Yes, because they followed me.
So we are talking. It was the same that you two.
No. I resigned honorably. I resigned.
But they were booted out.
Well, yes.
Okay. Don't you think that you look at Dr. Brian Champon?
Yeah.
Dr. Mahmoud Baumia. You have Ken Ejapon.
Yeah.
Don't you think that if you were there, you could have been the main man now? Because everybody would have been tainted and you would have been the neutral.
Remember that after President Kufuor, there were 17 of us. I think majority of them cabinet ministers. 17 most senior members of the NPP after President Kufuor who contested. People forget about this in the 2007 primaries. Now, it is important for people to remember that out of these 17 gallant men, when we finally went to Legon, there were only 2 of us who were left. And look at the difference. Look at the difference. All the so-called heavyweights, how many votes did they get? How many? Some 9, 22, and things like that. You understand me? These were heavyweights. Now, how is it that Alan Kyerematen and then President, at that time, candidate Kwadwo were the 2 people who were left? And in actual fact, in spite of what happened, which everybody knows was stage managed when the election was disrupted, I still managed to get enough votes for the 2 of us to go into. So whether people like it or not, I will say it openly.
Okay.
In MPP, right now, it's either you are pro Alan or you are pro Akufo-Addo. There's no doubt about that.
I see.
And so if people keep on talking about, oh, Alan does not matter and things like that, it's up to them. They must try and understand how come 2.1 million people refuse to vote. Okay. So now that I've made my point clear, it means that there's no going back. I have a new party.
Mr. Alan John Kwadwo Kyerematen, it's a delight speaking to you. The last time you criticized the former president, in local parlance you blasted him. Well, former president Akufo-Addo, have you been speaking to him?
Oh no, we haven't. I think he's been in and out, no, so we haven't quite spoken. But no,
not on phone. No, you don't call them like
it's just because we haven't had a chance to meet. Yes.
The former president, John Ejekum Kufuor, and then also Akufo-Addo. Unless you meet at funerals, you don't call each other.
No, we all have, I would say, busy schedules. But when we meet, we definitely confer. So I don't think that's a problem at all.
Mr. Kyerematen, nice talking to you.
Roland, Are you,
Solo is my very good friend.
Are you going to now become the parliamentary candidate for
United Party?
For the United Party.
I'm a journalist.
So that's the difference.
In the meantime, I'm a journalist.
You see, so that's the difference. Now we are no longer a movement.
Yeah,
we have a full-blown organizational structure with parliamentary candidates who will be selected.
Yeah.
So this is where the action will be.
All right, great speaking to you.
Yes,
and very vociferous as always. Alan John Kwadwo Kyerematen, alongside his interim officers as well as his soldiers, decided to launch their own party, United Party, fully registered under the laws of Ghana. And congratulations to you, sir.
Thank you.
We promise to give you more platforms for you to air.
We very much appreciate that. Yeah.
Your own policy ideas and improve our democracy.
Yes,
right.
yes, absolutely.
As experienced as you are.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, you can get an upload of this interaction on TV3 Ghana as well as other subsidiary platforms of Media General.
Stand down.